Today I would like to invite you as my guest to Space World 95, or as it was known then, Shoshinkai, the first time the public played the Nintendo 64, Kirby Ball 64, which changed several times to become Kirby Air Ride, and the legendary Super Mario 64. 2 tickets here, with Mario like a sun on the horizon reaching out to you in the newly branded console. What is this surprised look upon his face? Is it shock at the power of 64 bits? Who's to say? This is the event information. The first paragraph is a welcome and introduction to the show. The second is an itinerary, the when and wheres. The third is instructions for this color-coded name tag to be filled out and placed in our lanyard. Orange is for distributors, blue was likely press, and Miyamoto is seen wearing a green tag here, so I assume green is for God. And of course, we have directions and location details in case we get lost. Now while we're here, we'll need to play the beta of Mario 64. It does differ drastically from retail, and I'm excited to see those differences. So welcome back to Hard4Games, everybody. I'm your host, Tony, and as you know, we cannot go back in time, but today we have the very next best thing. We have 2 actual, real tickets to the Shoshinkai 1995 event. Thank you, those over. And we have a ROM built from source code of Super Mario 64 that's made to mirror and resemble the Shoshinkai build. So awesome. This beta restoration project is aptly known as the Preservation Project, and we're going to be featuring this very heavily today. And to complement the game, we're going to be playing it with an actual Ultra 64 joystick. Now, if you've seen the previous episode, you know that we were able to take this joystick and place it wholesale into a retail controller so we could utilize it. There's a whole backstory to this. I'm going to put some videos in the card above, description below, all that stuff, so you can kind of catch up on that. But suffice to say, we were able to take the prototype, place it into the retail without changing the housing or the functionality or anything like that. So it is authentic as authentic can be. And this joystick more so matches the one utilized at Space World 95. You can see the larger thumb pad, the larger stick, albeit with grips, both in the video and in this instruction poster. The instruction poster is actually recreated here by the Preservation Project. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, I just want to say that, you know Mario 64, I know Mario 64, everyone in the world knows Mario 64, so I'm not going to be covering every single minor difference. I'm just going to be covering the major ones. So you probably already noticed some differences here, but to really understand the Shoshinkai version, you need to understand Mario's moveset and movement. So let's go ahead and explore a little bit here. So as you can see here, we have his sideways somersault. Let's try the triple jump. 1, 2, 3. Triple jump does not exist anymore. If you take a look at, obviously, the Shoshinkai build, but a lot of the early trailers as well, there is no triple jump. There is this spinning triple jump thing, which does exist in the game, but only when Mario jumps on enemies that have those little propellers. He jumps on them and then he spins off into the distance. It's sort of like a fun little treat, really, more than anything. I am glad they ultimately changed it though, because this is much less useful. You don't go quite as high, and you can't grip onto ledges. Let's try that again. Yeah, so a lot less useful. The Mario 64 DS version, I believe, had something like this for Luigi, if I recall correctly. And it really lets you break the game a little bit. Let's take a look at his attacks. We're missing his big punch, though. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 with that big punch that he throws.
Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, woohoo!
Here we just have punch kick, punch kick, punch kick. It's more limited. Here I'm pressing Z to crouch and then jump. So there's no backwards flip. Similarly, I'm gonna go ahead and press Z jump, Z jump. There's no long jump here. So all the jumps involving Z no longer exist. Or rather, I should say, didn't exist, and were added later. And the last thing I want to show here is, take a look at this slide. It's not quite being on ice, but it's pretty close. If you take a look at some of the early Space World footage, Mario takes a little bit longer to stop. When you take that, combine it with the fact that this prototype joystick is longer, wider, has a bigger thumb pad, and is just generally not as good with short, precise movements, it adds up to a very slippery Mario. At least you can kind of stop it almost midway through, a little bit. Now, another thing you probably noticed is Mario's voice. Good God! This is before they got the current voice actor, and you can hear his voice in the Shoshinkai footage and the early trailers, and it is piercing. It's very piercing. Good God, he's slippery. No piranha plant, no butterflies. Colors are a little bit different, as you'll see. The HUD's very different. It's much more cutesy, much more cartoony. These coins here obviously look different. They look earlier. Less of a sheen to them, less of a polish. These thwomps look different. Colors look different. Overall, it just looks earlier. Let's see what happens when we get smushed. Oop. I slid out of the way. No! We have a power meter that's numbered. No blue coin. Now this whole area is missing parts. And as you can see from the Shoshinkai footage, this whole other area just didn't exist. So normally the level continues over here. There's other stuff to do, but not here. Hasn't been built yet. No crosshairs on the cannon, which isn't too big of a deal. There's normally little elevator platforms here, but instead we have a pole. I feel like the sideways somersault really replaces the backwards somersault jump that you get in the retail version of the game. You end up utilizing it in its place. I love the look of those early stars too. They're very like 16-bit, like 16-bit trying to be 32-bit is what it reminds me of. Yeah! You know, obviously Mario does not control as well here, but it is a ton of fun to play, not just because of the fact that it's, you know, an earlier version of the game, but also because of the fact that it's different. It's a different way to play Mario with a sort of remix of the levels. Now we can't do the long jump here, so we're probably gonna have to do the spinning jump. Here's another nice little touch here. So in the retail version, if you've already gotten the star and you get it again, it doesn't appear as gold, it appears as sort of a transparent blue. Here, instead of gold, it is silver. Now here's another level that's very different. We start off on the right end of the platform, whereas we start off on the left end in the retail version of the game. But as you can see, there is no left end here. So it's missing a whole big chunk of the beginning portion of the level. No red coins as we'd normally see here. Now I just got injured, watch this. You actually recover some power. Oh, here's another bit. into the volcano. There's a whole section in here in the retail game, but there's nothing in here now. There's a whole section with a log rolling missing over there. Another thing you'll notice here is that Mario is almost always centered. Almost always in the center of the camera. So it feels a little bit strange. I hope you all enjoyed our pretend time traveling back to 1995. And I do want to say that, like with many of our projects, this was a big team effort despite our quarantine situation and my quarantini. Anyways, I have a number of people to thank. Starting off, name that you probably heard quite a bit lately. These tickets for me to keep, which was incredibly kind of him, and also sent over the Ultra 64 joystick for a second time from Australia. Just crazy amount of trust. Also crazy amount of trust in our postal services, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Next up, we have Marionova and the Preservation Project team. I'm going to be including links to their Twitter, project Discord. It is not released yet, but you can keep up with the project and get various updates via their Discord and Marionova's YouTube channel. Members of the project include Robichu, Fluvian, CDi-Fails, Lurondor, and of course, like I mentioned, Marionova. And last but not least, I do want to thank Forest of Illusion. He gave me quite a bit of an education on Shoshinkai. It was something that I was only vaguely familiar with before this, but he stepped up and provided lots of information. So again, I really appreciate it, everybody. And of course, thank you to all of you at home for watching. If you'd like to support us, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, join us on Patreon. We have a Patreon-only Discord, but hey, support us in any way that's convenient for you. We appreciate it regardless. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.